Hi, everyone. My name is Eileen. I'm the program intern for the first and transfer year experience program. I'm so excited to start this new series where we'll be interviewing UC San Diego students about their experiences with campus life. We hope that this discussion inspires you to get involved with campus organizations and activities. Today, we're interviewing Melody. Tell me a little bit about the Alternative Breaks program.
So we focus, depending on what trips you go on, the focus is different. So for the last two trips that just happened in the spring, the focus was educational justice, and the other focus was environmental justice. So there was the education one was in Memphis, Tennessee, and the environmental one was in Virginia. And I went on the Memphis one because I am all about educational justice, only because I forgot to mention that I come from LA, but I come from an underserved community, area. So when I was like, you know what? This is the trip for me. Like, this is what I want to do, only because I'm passionate about that. And I understand,
Great. What was one experience that was really memorable to you involving your education alternative break?
Yeah. So at one of the locations that we went to, so every day was different, but for Tuesday and Thursday, they were kind of the same because we went to the same location. And where we went was called Junior Achievement BizTown. So it's like a program where they set up, it's a simulation where they set up businesses for the kids. So you learn how to run a business essentially. Okay. It was so cool. I remember the first day, the business that I was assigned to was AutoZone, but the kids were like, yeah, I got this. Don't worry. I am the manager. And I was like, okay. You're truly just there to guide them, on make sure they're following the rules. But it was so fun and it was so engaging. And I loved it. I was like, this is amazing. And I found out, I started asking questions about the program. And I found out there's one out here stationed in San Diego. They're barely getting open and they're barely starting to open up. But I was like, oh my God, can we volunteer there? It was just so fun. That was so fun. I gotta say,
sounds really fun. Yeah. I have two follow-up questions. What is the role of the student in regards to that business that you mentioned? So what would they do for AutoZone? What was kind of their tasks?
Yeah. So for there was 4 stations. It was executive chief, manager, sales manager, and finance manager. So yeah. So depending on where they wanted to be, they got to choose their role in class. So depending on their strengths for their personality and what they want to do, and if they feel good and comfortable with numbers, determine which role that they got. But they get to choose, essentially they get to choose their roles. And when I say that it was fun, I guess it was fun because there were so little, there were 5th graders, 6th graders.
Okay.
Learning how to run a business. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. No, definitely. That I've actually never heard of that. Being in elementary school and having that one-on-one connection with other businesses, especially in finance. I feel like they're definitely ahead of the game now, and they're probably going to be super inspired to, start businesses in the future, or even just having students being exposed to those spaces. It's just such a confidence boost, coming from that very young age. Another question was, what's the name of the program that you mentioned that is just opened up in San Diego?
Yeah, it's Junior Achievement BizTown. So it's the exact same, but it's just located in San Diego.
Okay. You talked about what motivated you, to join the program. Can you walk us through what does a typical week look like during training? And then what does the week look like when you're actually in the service role?
Yeah. So before we go, we get training on mental health, make sure that we're checking in with each other, making sure that the people who we're around are okay. We get training on what to expect, because the communities that you do go into are very, it depends on where you're going, but the communities, you have to be open-minded, because a lot of students from a lot of us don't experience the same things. So you have to be aware and considerate to the things that those children are facing, and the people who you're going to serve are facing, their challenges. Also, we get training on what we do reflections, our reflection training before we go, what we expect, what we want to learn. And then, yeah, it's usually just check-ins with everybody, making sure we know what we're going to do and all the policy guidelines before. And when we're there, we go to our site, and every day we have check-ins. We do our own food. So like, oh, I'm so sorry. Before we go, we do our planning and stuff like that. So like food prep, who's gonna cook, who's gonna clean. Basically our day, what our days are gonna look like. When we're there, we clean, cook, we do reflections every night after our sites. And you get training on what to expect from your site as well. So for me, I know I had to do camera training to get that certification. So a lot of the training is also going to be on the UCSD link. I forgot what it's called, but you can just access it once you activate your account. You can just access all the trainings that you're going to need. They get assigned to you.
Okay, and then so this is going to be the last question that we have. So what advice would you give to someone who's considering applying but might be hesitant for whatever reason?
Yeah, I would say apply. Like, just apply, get your name in there, because if you don't get your name in there, then you don't give yourself the option to have that opportunity. So just put your name in. I know that I was iffy on whether I wanted to go on the trip or not. I ended up going and it was really fun. Like, but I knew that prior. I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this because it's a new experience. It was my first time going on a plane. Like, everything was just so new. And I was like, I can't. Like, that's how I felt. But after I got the training, after I was learning about what we were going to do, I was like, I do want to do this though. So I'm going to go. And I ended up going, and I like, just put your name in there. That's what I truly like. See how it feels. Test the waters before you go. And if you're just like, no, this is not for me, you can always drop out before you have to like sign everything. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's really good to know. So it seems like you're very passionate and you learned a lot from this role. So I am going to ask one more question. What was like the biggest life lesson that you learned from this whole experience?
I think, that one's good.
It could be like emotional, personal, professional, anything that you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah. So I went on the trip mostly because I also had a passion about educational justice, but also because I want to go into working with kids as I get older. Well, my career choice, but it was a lot. Like one of the sites, it was a really beautiful program. It was called the Carpenter Art Garden, and their purpose was to provide like arts and crafts after school for an underserved community. And the school that was there, they didn't have no arts, no music, no nothing. It's literally just school and then leave. I was like, and I had to be really like, it was really kind of, I was like, dang, like they had art statues and all dedicated to the kids in the community. So the kids were the ones who put everything together, and it was so beautiful. They had mosaic statues. It was too good. I was like, wow. But as I was there, I was like, this is really something that, like, it made me sad, but it made me good to be there at the same time, because I was like kids really don't, like, we really don't see that. Like, you don't think something so small would have such a big impact, but like, you could just see it. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is something that I want to do. Like, it made me realize, like, I truly do want to go work with kids in some type of way and like help them try to find their passions, because a lot of the kids were like, oh yeah, we do math and this, like when they were telling me, and they were like, but we don't get to draw and we don't get to do this. So this is why we really like it. And I was like, oh my God, wow. Like, it was just really touching. Like, yeah.
So I'm so glad that this experience like helped you confirm your passion, because I know like that's a very kind of big deal that a lot of people are like facing right now in college, where it's like, should I continue with this major? It doesn't really make me happy, but they don't really have like that real world experience to say like, oh, this is definitely what I want to do. So it seems like you're definitely on the right track. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. I'm sure that this conversation is really going to help lots of incoming students either, pursue their passion about education, or really just go for it with alternative breaks. I'm sure there's so many different ways for students to get involved. But again, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem.